So the firm that we represent is ehsInc. We are your experts for all of occupational health and safety consulting and training. Give us a shot if you need assistance with that, right? But more specifically for this particular topic, we do offer these levels, the awareness, the train the trainer, and the competent person. Obviously, those have the respective disciplines, but we offer those 3-tier levels for safety education. As far as the consulting umbrella, we offer on-site inspections, and also we do help with the development and updating of your written program. That is a California and Fed OSHA requirement to have a written program specifically on trenching. So we can definitely help out. We have a team of technical writers that can assist with that. And obviously JHAs, we have our colleagues here that do those every day. We come out and we assess a particular task. Maybe something that involves digging. And we can probably find more of a safer route, a more efficient route. So we can give you our reports and our findings on that. All right? So Roy has been with us for quite a while. He's pretty much our guru for regulations. He knows pretty much all of them. He is our lead primary, no pressure. sorry. But he's our lead safety specialist, and he leads our hazmat, HAZWOPER department, environmental. And he's also recently got his CHST, which is a reputable acronym in the industry for construction. And he's a notable authorized OSHA trainer for construction as well. So he knows enough about construction to get himself in trouble.
So good morning, everyone. Again, my name is actually Rogelio Horta. They call me Roy. So it's probably easier than that than anything else, right? So this is a real simple presentation. Basically, we want to tell you exactly what is actually going on, the reason of the national emphasis programs, and the reason why you need to be prepared. Because a lot of people take for granted that I already know what I'm doing, and I've been doing this for a long time, but sometimes we miss a lot of things, a lot of little things here and there that actually can cause issues and problems, and we've seen it. And especially companies, when you see accidents that happen to companies that are very well known, like being a really large company, that are very well trained, and actually causing accidents and actually getting people dead, killed, then that's telling us that something is not there, that something is missing. And that's the reason why we're here, because we want to help you there. We want to take your hand and we want to take you there. So this is the agenda. Like I said, it's a very short program, but it will give you enough information to get you going. And like I said, again, I don't want to be too repetitive about this, but that's the reason why we're here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the, when it doesn't work, click, turn it on.
Oh, is it on? My God, how embarrassing is that?
So have you guys are familiar with the National Emphasis Program? Anybody? Yeah. Is this only for trenching and shoring? No, so they had a lot of them. When they started, I think, in 2004 or something like that, they really started actually increasing the amount of programs they get into it. And a lot of them, they're still active. But then, even though they think that everything's working well, suddenly they need to go back and revisit and then actually re-emphasize the situation. So trenching and shoring is one of them. So what they did is they came up with a really interesting idea, which is really simple now that with the hashtags and all the things that we use, is to start using code names to talk about the different accidents. So now what they did is they gave them trenching. So everything that is done, any accidents that happen, any issues they have with trenching, is just based on their code word, which is trenching. So now they can actually see, when they actually do the search, they see and they look at the numbers and it's like, oh wow, what happened here? So there's a very, very large amount of accidents still happening, even though we know a lot, right? We got all these boxes that you can rent, you have all this equipment that you can use, we have this incredible heavy equipment workers that can actually excavate anything and do really nice, perfect sloping and benching and do so many things out there. But it's still, somehow, somewhere, we're still making mistakes. And it's not so much what you do, it's what other people do not do. That's the biggest issue. It's what other people are not actually doing properly. So the main emphasis of these programs is to educate. It's to give you resources. It's to give you stuff that you can actually use in the future. Something you can use with your students. So if you go to the National Emphasis Program on the OSHA website, you can find all these different resources. They're free. So we put some of them on your folders. You got some of them in there. They got a speaker. They have a little poster. They got little things here and there that they'll actually help you out. And also, if you go to their website, it has all the information on the regulation and everything that you need to know. So, sorry, let me go back. So this particular one, it started October 1st, 2018. It's a 3-month period of education and prevention outreach. So nothing changed because they are doing the outreach. Everything is still the same. The enforcement slows down a little bit in the sense of going after you and make sure, like, we're going to get you to do this because you have to do it. No, it's more of we're going to get you to do it because it's important for you to do it. We're going to get you to do it because we want to save people. Because we want to make sure that you are alive. That's the entire concept here. So, so in this case with enforcement, this is the enforcement activities will begin after the outreach ended. So it's basically 3 months from October 1st. And but even though if you're doing something that's really, really bad, enforcement will kick in regardless. So even if you call consulting, you know how that works. So you gotta be careful with this. So this is one of the most recent handouts from the National Infancy Program. Yeah. So like I said, if you want it right now, just point your camera to the screen, your iPhone, and then it will go directly into it. It's really, really simple. That way you don't have to bother doing research or anything. If you don't have an iPhone, bad luck. Now you need to have an app. You have to have an app that actually does that for you. And this is very interesting. It's an abstract, so I think it's about 6 pages long, and that's very specific of instructions for the actual inspector. It's for the inspector more than anything else. This is for the inspector, what it's supposed to do, and a lot of the requirements. So go ahead. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, it says we have fatalities in 2016 that doubled the average of the previous 5 years. Double. So someone asked me one day, how many people are supposed to die to make sure you're safe? And I said, well, I think it's one too many. It's supposed to be 0, right? And then someone asked me one day, do you think that we can have a accident-free society? And I says, yeah, it's possible. We just have to get rid of humans. And then it would be perfect. There will be no more accidents. Everything will happen because it's supposed to happen. So it's really hard. A lot of these things these numbers happen because people make decisions. And those decisions, many times, they're not the right decisions. Many times they forget to make a phone call. It's going to take me 5 minutes. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's one of the most basic. I hear that for 15 years. I hear that in every class. Why do I need to take this class? Why do I need to do that? I've been jumping in trenches for the last 30 years. Nothing happened to me. Oh, yeah, one time I got dirt in my eye. Oh, wow, yeah, right. So, but is that a fact? I mean, is that something that actually is going to keep happening? So one day, somebody jumps in the trench, and next thing you know, you're actually buried. And that's basically what happened with these numbers. The numbers change because people feel comfortable. Because people decide that it's a good idea not to spend our money on that box. It's going to take me 10 minutes. It's just a piece of pipe. It's not going to take long. All I have to do is jump in and jump out. I hear stories about people actually trying to fix things on trenches while water is running, and there's no shielding around them. And water is running, and you know that the walls start caving in, and the front, and it's like, that's okay, we still have 5 minutes here. We're going to make it. We're going to be okay. And then I've seen actually people getting plywood, and they just put a piece of plywood to kind of like a retaining wall, just to give enough time for the guy to actually do this. This is the reason why we have so many accidents, just because people make decisions they're not supposed to. It's because people are not educated properly. So I can go on and on and on accidents that I actually study, and also conversations I have with people in different companies, but it will take us probably about a week or so just to cover all of them. That's how many of them are out there. So this is a main priority for OSHA. The cave-ins, the collapse, everything, they have to end. That's it, yeah. They have to end. So this is one of the this part of the campaign. They have this has a sticker, and I think it also has a poster. So you can actually go to the OSHA website. You can actually request these things, and they'll send it to you. But it's really simple, right? Slope or bench trench walls. Shore, trench walls with supports, or shield, trench walls with trench boxes. So it's basically for your employees, for somebody to actually see it. That every time they go out, they can actually see this and say, oh, you know what, you're right, I'm missing something. So maybe I can do this. So Is any of you guys a competent person in this room for excavation? You are, right? Based on what we were actually talking about. Yeah, so it's important to have a competent person inside that actually do this, but there's a lot of companies that are very small, and so they're having a hard time actually, deciding who's going to do what. And sometimes they don't really, they might have the resources, but maybe they don't have the time to get the person to actually learn. But everything is online nowadays, and then you have companies like ours that we can actually go and actually help you out. And so there's no excuses for that. This is the actual poster. The other one is, I guess if you can get the sticker, you can have the poster in here too. So definitions, right? So this is one of the biggest things I see when I teach these classes. It's always like, okay, wait a minute. This is an excavation, it's a trench. Definition. So now what do we have? We only have 2 definitions in here. This is not supposed to be a comprehensive excavation class, but this is a very important point I want to make in here. So what happened here is most people don't read the definitions. I have problems with this. I have problems with confined spaces. I have problems with a lot of different things where people read what they want to read. They understand what they want to understand. So if you do not really understand the definition, you have a problem. That's the fundamental issue here. You have to know the definitions. So now, Marjorie showed you guys the 4216, and Joseph really right in front of the first page is what? So a lot of definitions, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. And so you also have a definition for excavation. It's on G, and it says, means any operation in which earth, rock, or other material in the ground is moved, removed, or otherwise displaced by means of tools, equipment, or explosives in any of the following ways: grading, trenching, digging, ditching, drilling, augering, tunneling, scraping, cable or pipe, plowing, and driving, or any other way. And just continue with that. So now, look at this. And you have a definition of excavation here. Isn't that the same one? This is exactly the same definition. This is exactly the same definition. This is 4216. This is actually your OSHA trench and excavation. This is Dig Alert. This is DigSafe website. This is that. Definitions, definitions, definitions. Many times, probably you've seen it as a safety professional, how many times you actually look at a definition of something in one book, and then the next book is something completely different, something actually that you're like, wait a minute, this one was a little more specific than this one. Definitions. Read your definitions, understand your definitions, and that's the beginning. Once you get those, then you move to the next step, right? So this happened really close around here in Lake Forest. Riverside Company, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happened right here in Lake Forest. That one, I assume we have the handout inside. You
guys do have the handout in the marketing folders for sure if you want some reference material.
Yeah, so you have it was right here on our part of the town, Lake Forest, May 9, 2018, right before Mexican Mother's Day. That's how I know it's May 10th. So I know that's it. So it's a fatal trench collapse at a residential construction site. So one of the problems with this is that these people actually were told not to do this. They were actually cited before. That was one of the biggest issues with them, is that they actually keep doing the same stuff over and over again. And it's the same concept. I went on the internet, I checked some of the resources, and basically what they said is these guys keep actually doing the same thing. Oh, it's going to take 5 minutes. Why do I put the box in it? It's going to take 5 minutes. Why do we have to do this? It's just going to take 5 minutes. Oh, I don't know how to drive and operate the crane. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to do it. Then what happened after? This is not a problem. This is just money. And so, but then the concept of the entire emphasis program is not, who cares about the money, right? Who are we caring about? It's our employees. It's about people. So they did not even do the most basic stuff, which is classify the soil, right? And then we have a rule when we talk about excavation. What is the rule? If I do not know what I'm doing, or I have no idea what type of soil I'm dealing with, or I do not have the equipment, all soil is what? Type C. Simple rule. If I have no idea what I'm dealing with, I'm going to treat it as type C, and I'm just going to do what I need to do for type C. But people still making those mistakes. Oh, no. Yeah, I think it looks good. I don't think it's going to collapse. It looks dry. Let's jump in. Go ahead. I don't know if you noticed this, but this is something I use in some of my presentations. Do you guys remember when we were little? We used to go to the beach and dig a hole. And we used to jump in. And then we used to put the sandbag on top of us. And then my cousins, especially them, they used to go and jump on top of them. So compress it. And sometimes we don't realize that how powerful fan is, right? So you're there and you're like, get me out. Can't breathe, right? Yeah. So and that, your head is outside. You still have movement. You can actually pull yourself out. Now think about somebody that's actually under their head with full of dirt on it. The desperation, the need to breathe, the need to get out, the need to actually survive. You're being buried alive. And that's why this is so important. That's why you have to pay a lot of attention to what you do when you do these things. It's because what's going to happen to someone that gets trapped in a trench? It's the suffering. This is just like just really think about it, right? So to understand a little bit of what you're supposed to do, we need to actually go even way back on the regulations and talk about this, right? So the OSHA General Duty Clause, right? So it's requiring me as an employer to protect my employees, right? But here in California, we have something a little bit different. So this one is federal, and we abide by, but we have something even more powerful than this. And anybody remember what's the name of that by any chance? Your IIPP, your Illness and Injury Prevention Program. That's actually basically the same, and it's actually even better. Where eventually we're going to go national with the IIPP. So I have to comply with everything. I have to protect my employees, and my employees have to abide by my rules. They have to do what I'm asking them to do, right? As long as it's safe. Standard operating procedures, whatever you need to do, it has to go through there. So very specific regulations on 1926-800, 1926 Part P for excavations. 1926 for underground lines. All these are your federal regulations. You also have them on California regs. This is for general industry. Some related regs. And when we talk about resources, and this is one of the most important documents you can actually receive. This one you should. I don't know if the link is there somewhere. But you can actually do the code. This is the best practice for underground safety. This is really, really good. I had a book. I don't have a book anymore. So, but you can get this one online. It's free. You can download it as a full PDF. I believe if you want the book itself, you got to pay for it. So there's a cost for it. But if you download this directly from the internet, it's actually a PDF, and it's actually pretty cool PDF. And you can use it.
It's cheap too.
Yeah,
super cheap.
So, so another place that you want to find resources is NULCA, the National Utility Location Contractors Association. These guys are the ones that create the guidelines for and the industry standards for people that find your subsurface utilities. And these guys are really good. So when we look at the different resources that we have plenty, but sometimes people don't know. And so that's a big issue, is that like somebody has to tell me where to go. And so that's what we're here. That's what we do. And we sit in here and we search and we do and we learn and we take classes and we learn everything we need to learn. Construction safety orders, California construction safety orders. This is for you. If you do major excavations, you know you need a permit, so there will be a section there for permit. You need very specific paperwork here in California for a lot of things that we do. I'll recommend you go through that, and if not, we're here. So, dig alert. What do I need to call dig alert? Can I just do it by myself? I have an X-ray machine. I got a radar system. I have the drawings from everything from the city. Can I do that myself? Well, you're trained and you're certified and all that. Yeah, probably you can. But in this case, you call dig alert because it's a law. I was very surprised. When I was listening to, surprise, I was listening to radio, which is hardly ever listen to radio. I'm always listening to something, like for my Apple Music or something like that. So once in a while, I turn on the radio, and what is it I hear? A service announcement, dig alert, in English on, I can't remember the station. And then later I was listening to a Spanish station, and they have the same exact one in Spanish. So what are they telling you? They're telling you that we're really concerned about this thing. So this is the emphasis program is not only for it's for everybody. We have people that they own a home and they got to do a little work on the backyard. They can call them too, right? So Dig Alert is full of resources. You can go there. This is actually directly from them too. So your 4216 is actually that's where you can actually get it from. It's California Government Code 4216. So do I need a written program? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Can I put a program together? Well, I guess you can if you know what you're doing, right? So, but this is the main, this is the heart of the regulation, to have a program. We need somebody to tell us exactly what to do. This is how you do it, and this is the way you're going to do it. You cannot be thinking of the way you're thinking, it's the way to go. It's the right way to do it. That's your common sense, right? That's what we have as standards. We standardize in the way we do things. So this is part of them. It's, I'm not going to allow my employees to do whatever they think they can do. I'm going to tell them exactly what they need to do. I'm going to give them a blueprint, and they have to follow it. That's the concept of the programs, is to have something that I can refer back to it. This is the culmination of you reading the regulations, reading your 4216, your government laws, reading the little booklets, just doing all your research, getting all that information, you grab them, you put them together, you do this. Is that a simple process? No, it's not. So it has to be done properly. So it's extremely important, and also it protects you, right? So we have, like Eric mentioned earlier, we had a team of people that actually do this for a living. We put it together for you. No problem. You let us know. We go to your facility. We work with you. We put them together. So what do we need on my program? It's a minimum. So I need employee roles and responsibilities. Who's in charge of what, right? The trenching and excavation definitions, always. I want to make sure people understand. If I'm doing a trenching, or I'm trenching or excavating, what is it I'm doing? I need to identify hazards. What is it we have? The encumbrances, right? What is it I'm actually going to be encountering in those places? Hazard control. How am I going to control that once I actually working with them? It's called water or gas, whatever you want to call it. And this is one of the key parts. This is one of the most important parts of the to have a competent person. What's the responsibility of the competent person, right? We train a lot of people to be competent persons here. But at the end, the decision is, you as a company, you decide who's going to be the competent person. So you can send somebody here. We'll teach them how to be a competent person. We teach them about everything that has to do about soils, how to test them, how to do everything. And but it's up to the employer to decide who's going to be the competent person, who's actually qualified to do that. Yeah. So many times we receive people here that they say, how long you been doing excavation work? Never. And so, but you want to be a yeah, because I know taking the class, I'm a competent person after that. No, you're not. No, you're not. So this is one of the biggest ones right here. You have to have a capable, competent person. You can send them to take a class, but you have to make the decision. You have to make sure the person that is doing this is actually somebody that is capable to do it. Somebody that's going to be able to make a decision and stop work if it's necessary, to make changes as it's necessary. It has to be somebody that actually has the power to do that. An excavation safety plan, very important, right? This might go wrong. So I need to do something about it. I need to make sure that I'm prepared for that. We cannot foresee every single thing that might happen, but we can actually be prepared for most of the most common problems that might happen. Soil classification and identification. I mentioned earlier, most people that do excavation, most people that work in trenches, they basically go and they said, I'm not going to be dealing with this, I'm just going directly to sea soil, and that's it. But That's not a good thing. You need to know what soil you're dealing with. It's good practice. You know how to do it. So you got to learn how to do it. So we're in California, correct? One of the most, I will say, the safest state in the nation. Does that sound correct? I think we're the one that has the most stringent safety laws. We have everything here, but it's still every day something happens, right? So what happened is that we, as a society, we are not proactive. We are extremely reactive. We wait for something to happen. Something happened, we create a regulation. Something worse happened, we create another regulation. I believe 2 people died in that particular incident, and several people got injured. But just think about it. And then the lines that they actually hit, that was actually, I think it was Kinder Morgan or somebody like that, some really big company. Because the litigation went on and on for many years. This thing was like, it was a major issue because of the damage that was caused to the street and the buildings, and then the 2 fatalities and the several people that got injured. So, and it was a mistake. It was something that couldn't be avoided. It was something really simple to do. Just make a phone call, just dig a little bit, remove something, look down. But these guys were in a hurry. They needed to get done fast. And that always, every time you're in a rush, you're going to make a mistake. You always do. And they did. And when somebody died in an accident like this, this is not good. You're not supposed to injure anybody. Your workers are there. You're supposed to, what it says, the regulation says you have to protect them. They're under your wing. So after the 2004 Walnut Creek pipeline explosion, some of the changes were it's mandatory training for line locators. So you cannot just decide that you can actually know how to do this. You're like, I can figure it out. I know if I look at this and I've seen these guys, they're pretty good. They're going to look for register boxes. They'll look for different things out there on the street and go like, okay, so right here we have a main that's running through here. And they try to figure it out. And sometimes they're really good at it, but it's like not always. One of the biggest problems with excavations, and it's something that actually these guys are trying to do, is trying to figure it out, where the stuff really is. That's one of the biggest issues. It's to figure it out exactly where everything is. And many times things are actually left behind. And sometimes stuff is actually positioned someplace else because they're in a hurry and they need to just do it. You just got to get it done. And for them to remove another piece of material, another big pipe, and get them out of the way, it's going to be an issue for them. And sometimes they go and they cut corners with their hope of never being cut. And things like that happen, right? I'm not saying that happens to that, but that's part of them. So that's why you need mandatory training for line locators, and you need to call them. When excavation is within 10 feet of a high priority subsurface installation, which means water, electricity, and everything else in between, excavators and operators shall conduct a mandatory on-site meeting. And sit down, we're going to talk about it. We're going to plan what we're going to do next. And make sure that they exactly where that is. Like in this case with Walnut Creek, that was a high priority subsurface. It was something big. It was a lot of gas in it. It was the explosion. They said they could hear it like really, really far away from the original explosion, which means a big accumulation of gas. And then another thing with especially gasoline is once it gets out, you might have a fire here, but whatever actually escapes, it actually flashes back. So there's a lot of things that can occur. So if I have to start an excavation, if I want to make this safe as possible, what do I need to do? What are the steps that I need to follow? Survey and mark. What is it you're actually going to do this, right? What is that actually? Your call before you dig. Wait. So we're planning. This is one of the biggest things. And I know my understanding is you can actually pay a premium, and then they can actually go and do it a little bit earlier. But normally it takes a while. Call them, plan your event with enough time for them to actually go and do this properly. Rushing to locate lines, it's always an issue. Rushing is not a good thing. You want to get this done, and you got to get it done properly. If they said the stuff is there and they give you a plus minus, it's because it's there. I don't feel like, no, you know what, actually, if I do that, I'm going to hit the sidewalk, and then if I break the sidewalk, we have to rebuild the sidewalk. And the area where I'm actually hitting it is like, no. I said, you know what, it's going to take too much. Maybe if I move a little bit this way. Next thing you know, gas. I've seen actually, I'm not going to mention the name, but I was at a facility, and I was there when they actually ruptured a natural gas line. I was there. I was actually walking upstairs. Like I said, I'm not going to mention the name of the place. I was actually going in to teach a class, and all I hear is clunk, and then everybody like, run, and everybody start running like, you know, seriously, you got to see them. And I'm like, what? And then everybody go like, go inside, and I'm like, and the moment I turn, I just hear, bah! And you can see the flames coming out of the ground. I'm not a pyromaniac, but it was actually pretty, I mean, just see the flames, it was an event for me. I was like, oh, wow. And then I realized what happened, and actually what they did is with an excavator, they hit the pipe, and the gas escaped. So the problem with the gas is you have you got a flash point of propane, natural gas, which is already there, and then you have a range, a flammable range. So the fire doesn't start immediately, they actually move and find an open fire or a spark or a hot manifold or something, and it flashes back. That's why it takes a while. So that's why sometimes people have the tendency to do this. Oh, I don't think we did anything, and then next thing they know, they're involved in flames. They wait, they stop, because they think nothing's going to happen, but it eventually does, every time with natural gas. So, survey and mark. You let them know where you're going to do your work. You got to let them know. Right? Mark proposed site with white spray chalk paint. If there's no concrete, if you're not on the street, then you put flags, you put stakes, you put whatever you wanted to put on the floor that actually indicate that's what you're actually planning to do your excavation, so they'll know. So again, we go back. If you notice, we keep talking and talking about this document. Seriously, when you get a chance, read it. Sit down and really go through it. This is important. So only qualify. So for line locating, I need to find somebody that can actually do this for me, for Legal Alert, or anybody. There's actually other companies that do it, but they have to be trained. You got to make sure they're actually proper trained. So under Government Code 4016, right? They have to know your illness and your prevention program. Has to follow the minimum guidelines of the TGA. And also follow the standards of NULCA, the National Utility Location Contractors Association. So it has to be, it's not just anybody that can do this, it has to be somebody that's actually properly trained. So before you dig, call A11 2 days prior to the event, so they can actually go and locate it for free. And then when you finish, make sure you fill out this properly, right? So this is the requirements. If you're ready to do excavation, you already know what you're supposed to do. So backfill excavation, 6 feet below 6, well, so on and so forth. And these are the main reasons why you're supposed to call A11. It's the law. I have to do it. It's the law. I have to do it, period. It's free, right? How bad is that? Like, it's completely free. It saves times. It's a lot cheaper than destroy pipes and get water running on the, breaking mains and things like that. So now let me ask you a question. If you are digging and you have an option, you have water, natural gas, electricity, and fiber optics. Which one will you be more concerned about? Fiber optics, right? Everybody is. And it's interesting because I hear people telling me in different classes that sometimes what they say is we have to make a decision. Sometimes we break the main. You know, we let water run, but we will not touch fiber optics because it's very expensive actually to repair them, and it's very expensive for you because they'll charge you for everybody that doesn't have email, for everybody that doesn't have cable, everybody that actually suffer. They will. So Yeah. It will save you a lot of money to actually know where the stuff is. And I've seen people actually doing like, we're not going to touch it. They try to find a way around this thing. You don't get injured, right? And like I said, it's a smart thing to do. And it's a very easy number to remember. 811. Don't dial 911. Somebody says, I call them and they never answer. And they said, what's your emergency? And he says, I don't have an emergency, I just got to dig. And he says, I'm digging a trench. I'm digging a trench. Yeah, you're not. So, so before you dig, they, like I said, you call, they show up, and then they'll do their markings. So, there's a lot of different colors, and they'll use it. So, make sure you're familiar with them. And you can get both, right? You can get the two books.
Yeah.
The book and the little.
That's just the two things that we are big advocates for, but there's other stuff like you talked about, stickers, just to kind of encourage that. But there's tons of stuff. Like I said, go on that QR code, it'll take you to that page. You can order a bunch of stuff for free. Well, technically our tax money, but yeah, free for sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you can actually get. They can actually help you out. So if damage occurs, this is one of the biggest things. A lot of people, they decide that they will try to fix it. They try to figure out how to fix these things. They try to patch it. They try to minimize. So it's like water. Once water get out of the pipe and start getting into a trench, the damage is actually caused by the water itself and the pressure. So many times they actually try to plug these things without avail. They can't. And so they actually, what they ended up doing is putting themselves at risk. They're in a situation where they can actually get injured. And all because they don't want anybody to know what happened. They don't want to deal with the consequence of what they actually did wrong. But it's not a good thing. So if something happens, you gotta act upon, get out of the trench. If it's water, not a big issue. If it's something else, then you have to start moving. You gotta start moving really fast. So your propanes, your natural gas, your electricity, you have to get out of the trench immediately. Water too. But the difference is with water, you can actually get out of the trench and just look and try to figure out what happened with natural gas and propane, any of those, gasoline. You got to get out, you got to move, and you got to move fast. Always go upwind as fast as you can, uphill, upstream, upwind as fast as you can so you can protect yourself. And, of course, call 911 immediately. Not 811. They already know. Just call 911 now. They will protect you. Well, they'll actually go on to 10 and try to help you. So we learned about the OSHA National Emphasis Program, the incident at Walnut Creek that actually triggered this whole event. This is what we're doing here. And the best practices for safe excavation. These are some of the resources you can actually go. We mentioned those earlier. They're here too. Trenching and excavation regulation itself.